me. Go Mavis, go Mavis, go Mavis. Good morning. Good morning. And how are you all today? Yes, Joseph has been letting me know that today is Mother's Day. And I bless the mothering spirit that is in all of us. You see, the mothering spirit is that capacity to care for, to nurture, and to harmonize with others. It is the love of God for his creation, and he of course is expressing through every heart this morning. And we celebrate. It is God's love that we celebrate today. God's love is the cosmic glue that connects us to each other and to everything else in the universe. It is that love that gives us a sense of belonging to each other. And although we know that God does not withhold his love from any one of us, that is, he is always available to us, simply by our recognizing it, simply by turning to him and recognizing it. But sometimes we separate in consciousness from him. And when we do that, we begin to feel a sense of need, a sense of want, and we begin to search for that love in all the wrong places. And in all, the wrong places too. In today's fast-paced world, we find it difficult to spend time connecting with people, with others in traditional ways, like going to church or going to this club meeting down the street or going out to dinner with friends. We find it hard to connect these days, and so we have created social and professional networks that allow us to meet up. You know that group to meet up physically and virtually with hundreds of people than we would ever have done if we simply stayed at home or went to church or to work or throughout our walks in life. I want to share with you what the Oxford Handbook of Positive Psychology says in an article by Dickerson and Zoccola, whose research is on the biology of social support. They say, or they indicate, that not having close personal contact or ties poses the same level of health risks as smoking, believe it, or obesity. Having a network of social connections or of high-level social support appears to increase our immunity to infection, lower our risk of heart disease, and reduce mental decline as we get older. So you're looking at your mothers and your fathers. Don't dump them in the nursing home, How about getting them connected to groups of people so that they don't move into that consciousness where they leave just a little bit here and they move the rest of the consciousness somewhere else, that they can't find anything or they can't even find you. As human beings, we're not an island unto ourselves. We are hardwired to connect to each other You see, that which streams out from us to connect with each other is the love of God moving in and through us. It's that cosmic glue that seeks to make that connection. Let us consider for a moment Jesus' prayer for his disciples, whom he would later commission to go into the world and make disciples of all nations. In other words, set up a spiritual network. That's what it is. Making disciples of all nations. He said, now, this is his prayer. Now I am no longer in the world, but these are in the world. And I come to you, Holy Father, that you keep those you have given me, that they may be one, as you and I are one. You in me, I in you, and they in us. Oneness. That you may be one. That we all may be one. In this unity, each one with the other, is diversity, though. There is a diversity in us so that we each bring our own unique gifts to the table. We bring our own unique talents and abilities to each other to uplift, to energize, to enrich, and to make the other person, not make them, but support them in their happiness. That's why we connect. We can laugh, we can play, we can feel great about ourselves and about others. My lesson today is entitled, The Tapestry of Life. And tapestries are beautiful works of art. Just look at your own up there. It's gorgeous. The tree of life that you have there, it's so gorgeous. I always remember it, but of course you have it on your website, so every time you go there, you connect. Yeah, New Thought Spiritual Center. I connect with that symbol. As I said, tapestries are beautiful works of art. And are there any weavers in here today? Okay. What the weaver does is he or she uses vertical wefts of strong yarn, between which is interwoven warps of yarn of different colors and textures. And they are interwoven to form a pattern like that one, but the pattern is what was held in the imagination before. You are simply outpicturing that pattern that you have held in mind, and the result is a masterpiece. The inspiration comes from the master weaver within, the one who holds us all together, the one who connects us. In the weaver's hand, every thread in that tapestry is equal to the other thread. Equal value. You are valuable to me. And I know I'm valuable to you. Say yes. Wonderful. Although the colors and the textures may be different, we are each valuable to each other, for without each thread, the tapestry is incomplete. Each thread supports, complements, and brings its unique qualities to the tapestry. At first glance, friends, it might seem that technology is behind our social and our professional networks, like Facebook and Twitter and instant message and that sort of thing. We might think that it's technology that is behind it. But people have always wanted to connect through their families, through their churches, sororities, fraternities, professional groups. You remember in your great-grandmother's time, they had the great-grandfather's time, it was the gentleman's club. They would connect. He would go to his club all day and hang out. It's the gentleman's club. It was the gentleman's club in that day. But at the most basic level, love is the spiritual power behind our social networks. That power of God that joins and binds the human family together. Each person is different, a different thread, uniting and binding together like a tapestry to function in a harmonious way. But as Sandra Day O'Connor says, we don't accomplish anything in this life alone. Don't you agree? And whatever happens is the result of the whole tapestry of one's life and all the weavings of individual threads from one to another that comes together to create something. Friends, my life, your life, is a tapestry of its own that we weave individually while connecting to and contributing to networks and to groups that we belong to. So we have the free will to create our best life. We may find that just as the yarn may be rough in certain strands or of different textures and colors, they describe for us the various events in our lives. Have you ever heard this expression, the bumps are what we grow on? The bumps in life, the challenges in life are what we grow on. So no tapestry would be complete without some rough yarns in there somewhere, And if we are looking with a critical eye, we have the opportunity to adjust or to change the way we do things so that the tapestry of our life going forward will reflect who we are today. Change your consciousness and you change your life. Our lives are not written in stone. You make that life. We are growing and we are expanding with wisdom and understanding every moment. And we, depending on what the big picture is, what it looks like for us, we might want to do things differently at some point in our lives in order that we may expand that pattern, or we might make it larger or more beautiful as we bring God's guidance and God's love into expression through us. I agree with Steve Brockhurst, who said, our outcome is woven of endless possibilities because we can choose from a universe of endless possibilities. Every person can make a difference. Each thread is a possibility. Every I say that again. Every person can make a difference in the pattern, in the tapestry of life or their own lives, because each thread is a possibility chosen by the design of the divine imagination. Our lifetime designs arise from our divine gifts, unique talents, desires, thoughts, choices, and actions. At times, old choices, old threads wear out. Yeah? Don't you have some habits that are really old now? That you really need to change? Yes, the threads wear out. And we must replace them. Replace the past with the present. We can replace the old with new ideas, new choices, and most importantly, new actions. We can view the future through today's eyes. And time blends all experiences, dark and light, into an awareness of authentic joy. Let me share my week with you. I live in a condominium, a 40-year-old or plus condominium, 24 units. And for over a month now, we have been hearing sound of water flowing loudly in the walls. And at night, it sounds like Niagara Falls in my unit, and which is it's loudest in my unit. We didn't know what to do or where to start. So finally, we waited for evidence to show up. Where did it show up? In my unit, okay? So after Wednesday morning, it showed up. Didn't do my lesson yet, you know. After 4 plumbers came to diagnose the problem, we finally ended up with someone coming in yesterday, and by the time he got there, the water was flowing out my front door. Giving new meaning, friends, to the idea of floating floor. My new floating floor. I don't swim. I don't want to ski even. But I had to float on my floor. So I made a conscious choice right there and then how to react in this situation and operate from a place of understanding, calling forth the Christ Spirit within me to guide my words and to guide my actions as I came to interact with the other members in the condominium and the board and the plumbers. That I honor, my prayer was to honor everyone involved, including myself. So I say to you, when difficult situations like these arise, friends, it is very easy to criticize who is right, who is wrong, try to establish blame somewhere, set, tempers off and feelings get hurt. And of course, there are always the experts, and I have to give them a special ounce of love, those those experts who know exactly what to do. How, in hindsight, how it could have worked so well, they know it all. More love. Opportunity to love more. So ask yourself, this is what you do. You ask yourself, how can I get to a harmonious fulfillment of my objective, which is to get my place in order in maintaining connections, communication is key. According to Steve Adubato, he says, Peter Pronovost, one of the country's top experts on reducing medical errors through communication training, states that 90% of errors, not just in healthcare, but in every industry, is about communication. Many of these problems stem from the hierarchical culture, where, for example, doctors ignore information that nurses give them, valuable information that nurses give them. How many people know that nurses know more than doctors sometimes? Pilots ignore information from co-pilots, you see, because they are subordinates and they ignore the information. It's not really deliberate. It's a subconscious thing. It's something, an attitude that is built and a philosophy that is ingrained in people over many years and experiences they have had in organizational bureaucracies. What results is that those ignored no longer communicate valuable information because they feel their voice is irrelevant. What am I going to tell you? Why am I going to tell you? Let the house burn down. Let the patient crash. Huh? Let this happen, that happen. Because you've stolen the voice of the person below you. So what they did was they developed a 3-step communication model, and I urge you to, embrace it. It's the assertiveness model. It can be used in any setting. A nurse, for instance, should get and use the doctor's first name in delivering the information. Important, oh yeah. Thereby breaking down that hierarchical barrier where, I am the doctor. And the hierarchical culture is what impedes effective communication. So you break that down. When you deliver the information, you seek agreement so that you do not assume that you were understood or that you're on the same page. You get a verbal response right away and repeat what you have to say until you get a verbal response. Okay? And so if you don't get a response, what you do is you go upstairs. Yes, you bump it up to the higher chain of command, and you make it clear that your objective is to make sure that you communicate clearly and effectively this important information. That's what you do. Let us remember that the life we live and the actions that we take in life is the legacy that we give to the world. It is the contribution that we make to the collective tapestry and to those who come after you. So let us remember that the future generation climbs on the shoulders of the present generation. So consciously choose what you're going to create with your life, that you may impact your world in a dynamic and in a harmonious way. I want to say to you this morning, church, that our God redeems and restores even the most broken and the most, what we call hopeless situation. Even my apartment, okay? Even when we don't understand why and how, but when I reflect on the water situation at my house that I must rush home to right now because it's not over. Second day of no water. Tomorrow, third day of no water. Coming to Nick's house. I must rush home to, to see the situation not as a disaster, okay? I lift my consciousness to the Father and give thanks that He is cleansing and He's purifying me at depth. Can you? Oh, yes, at depth. Forcing me to walk on water. And this is preparation. This is the key. This is preparation for greater things. In fact, my prayer is one of a recognition that this is a moment in transcendence. You have to look, you don't live on this plane every day. You have to go up to spirit and live on the higher plane. This is a moment in transcendence that we may express the love of God. I may show this community how God operates in His dear daughter that He has called to service. Okay? That's what it is about. Not their part. In a month or so, I'll call you and you can come see the apartment. Because He is going to give it to me bigger and better. Huh? That's the way you have to look at it. You are in service at all times. Father, I show up, my heart open wide, and my mind ready to be filled with your divine ideas. And so it is. God bless you. Amen.